Okay, it's time for a movie review, and it's of the 1989 movie Batman, starring Jack Nicholson, Michael Keaton, and Kim Basinger. Now, but you're wondering why there's two copies of the actual movie. I'll explain, even though it's actually free. Firstly, I bought this on DVD, which was the 2-disc special edition, and I've had this for quite a few years. And then I got the Batman Returns, um, and the Batman Forever. Don't remember I had Batman and Robin. Um, they then released the Batman movies on Blu-ray, so I went for the Blu-ray Steelbook, which is this one here. I did do a unboxing video of this on my YouTube channel, so you can have a look at it. What I might do is put it in the description box so you can have a look. And this I managed to get in a sale, so and then I got it for a really bargain price. I think it was maybe about £5, brand new, which was completely awesome. And then lastly, I got the Batman Blu-ray Diamond Deluxe Edition. Again, I did do a review of it, a review and unboxing. Well, not a review, but more of a unboxing of this. So I'll probably try and put that into the description box as well, so you can check those videos out. And what I really liked about this is that this came with 2 discs. So the discs in both of these are 2 discs, are both identical. Same artwork on the disc as well. But the difference is that this folded out into 4 pieces, and it was actually held together. It's actually held together by magnets, and the actual material of itself is actually made of carbon fiber, which is actually really great. And again, I did get this particular one in a sale, so that's the reason why I've got 3 of them. This one I just keep wrapped up. Same thing with this one. Maybe I will buy the complete Batman box set and then keep these totally wrapped up. But normally I watch it. I use this one. So anyway, we'll basically talk about the basic synopsis of the movie and then my thoughts and reviews of the actual movie. It says here, Jack Nicholson is the Joker, who emerged from a horrible accident as a maniacal criminal. Michael Keaton is the caped crusader who emerged from a childhood trauma to become a masked crime fighter. Kim Basinger is Vicky Vale, the talented photojournalist desired by both men. And Batman is the movie, the all-out spectacular, directed by Tim Burton, set to songs by Prince and a musical score by Danny Elfman, and a Academy Award winner and Best Art Direction Set Decoration, Anton, is it First, and Peter Young. So yeah, that's the basic synopsis of the actual movie, and my thoughts of the movie at the time. I absolutely loved it. This is obviously now, in this day and age now, obviously we take, I think a lot of people take movies more into frame. Here we are. In this day and age now, I think we take a lot of these superhero movies for granted, because obviously now with the dominance of the Marvel movies that we would get like 3 or 4 times a year, and the DC movies sprinkled around here and there, but mainly the Marvel movies that were the most successful, that came out and were hugely successful, and not, sometimes demonized by only nerds that would watch that movie. Now it's just everybody now is watches superhero films now, whether it's young or old, whether you're a comic book fan or whether you're not. But back in the day, it wasn't so kind of popular to watch superhero movies. Obviously, movies like Superman, the movie, that were the ones that set the standards of how the template of how all superhero films, movies are, up until the current movies where we are now in the 21st century, and as of 2023. And obviously, Superman, the movie, was obviously one of my favourite movies, and it was one of the first, to me, superhero movies done right and made believable, and had good acting and good story plot, good special effects. Obviously, there were obviously several Superman movies in the over the years, sequels with Christopher Reeves that world ranged from being great and not great. And then in the 80s, right? Obviously, we had movies like Supergirl and a lot of the movies that were more like made for TV movies, but there weren't really any kind of big successful superhero movies. And it was only until, let's say, 1989 when obviously DC then obviously stroke Warner Brothers then made the Batman movie. And we often complain about in this day and age now where controversy with certain actors or directors or certain things that have kind of gone on with certain movies where they've been rewritten or bad CGI. But back in the day, there was a lot of controversy with Michael Keaton being cast as Batman simply because of the fact that he was seen more as he was a comedic actor. And I remember in the when he was first being cast, it wasn't just in the UK, but more so in the States, where there was a lot of backlash with him being cast as Batman, because obviously we had the Batman '60s series, which was a lot more camp, and then this one obviously the comics were kind of camp, but then later on changed to be a lot more darker. And obviously, a lot of people, there was a lot of criticism with Michael Keaton being cast as Batman, you know, and then could he have the acting chops to play a more serious role, especially coming from a comedic background. And as well, I remember him getting a lot of stick. But again, I'm one of these people where I will give anybody a chance. They may not necessarily be your first choice in that particular role that you would come to think of being playing that role, but again, I'm always willing to give somebody a chance to prove themselves. I mean, you can't allow somebody to fail before they've even been given the chance to show their acting chops. And for me, he was a very good Batman. Obviously, we had Jack Nicholson, obviously that played the Joker. Obviously, he was obviously great, and he was an already established star already. And obviously, you had Kim Basinger, obviously as Vicky Vale. And I've seen her about in films here and there, but you know I didn't know what she'll be like in the role. But again, she was good. But what I really loved about the movie was the actual Batman suit, where obviously he was given a much more hard-edged suit. It was completely black. The suit was completely rubber. Also, it was very well known that he couldn't turn his neck because obviously the way the suit was completely molded. The special effects back in the day were absolutely fantastic. A lot of miniature work was used in that particular movie. A lot of the same people that did the miniature work actually did some of the miniature work in the James Bond movie GoldenEye, which a lot of people don't know about. But yeah, again, I really at the time really enjoyed the movie, and I remember the hype of when the movie was coming out, and this was back in the day, obviously before you had the internet, and there wasn't all of it, you know, this surrounded all this negative of people wanting the movies to fail, or you know, as I said before, Michael Keaton being cast in the role. And then I remember there were like obviously there was that toy merchandises. Also, you had things like from Burger King or wherever it was, McDonald's, wherever the fast food places had all these merchandise. Obviously, you had Prince that did a lot of the songs in there. And obviously, I remember when he did these two songs for the actual movie, and obviously, those charted in the movies. And I do have the Batman album around somewhere in my collection. And I remember back in the day, they used to do this with a lot of the mid '80s, late '80s movies, where you used to get these movie cards where you would get these silver foiled packs, and then you would have these cards, these cardboard cards, kind of like a playing card, but much smaller, and a lot more thicker, and they would have scenes from the actual movie. I remember them doing a Back to the Future one as well when that came out. It was in 1985, and then I think you got like maybe 6 or 7 cards per pack, and then you actually and it came with bubble gum. I remember it was like this pink rectangular bubble gum that came with the cards. And I remember that the bubblegum had this really distinctive smell to it, and then it even imprinted onto the actual cards themselves. And you know what? I wish I still had them. And I remember at sometimes that when I got doubles of these certain cards, scenes from the actual movie, you would trade them with your friends. And again, they don't do that a lot. Obviously, they don't do that anymore. And they even I remember they even released a sticker album where you could collect panini stickers of certain movies. So so there was a Back to the Future one. I remember having, and there was a Batman one. I mean, what you could do is they were all numbered, and then the pages of the sticker album, where maybe it was like 35 pages, and then you try to take the stickers off, peel it, and try to complete the actual collection of your stickers in your sticker album. Now I have seen them on eBay, and they're a lot of money, and they did do this with a lot of children's animated shows as well. So there was a Transformer one, and I remember having of the 80s series, and there was a Thundercats one that I had as well. And also during the 80s, they even did a World Cup sticker book. So I remember I had the World Cup of 1986, and then some of the stickers had silver they had the silver finish in it. And again, if you got doubles, you would swap with people until you had your collection completed. And I remember my sticker albums used to be so worn that I had to, with the actual spine on the actual sticker albums, that I had to put sellotape because they were falling apart. I miss those days of being able to collect the stickers of the movies and TV shows, and the cards and the bubble gum, obviously, which would have been gone off by now if you didn't eat them. But yeah, Batman, for me, is an absolutely brilliant movie. Again, Michael Keaton showed his acting chops in it. I mean, I liked him as Bruce Wayne. I think he was the shortest Batman in. I think, if I remember correctly. And I remember the Batmobile had that particularly distinctive style to it. And then when he would say shields, and then obviously that cocoon thing would go all over it. Again, Jack Nicholson as the Joker, and obviously previously before he became the Joker, he was Jack Napier. And what was kind of really great is that obviously in the comics we know that there's no distinct origin story for the actual Joker, or who killed um with the Batman's Bruce Wayne, how his parents killed in the comics. It's all, and even in the different TV or the different movie Batmans, it's never been always established that it was the Joker that killed his parents. But in this version of it, it's established that Jack Napier, aka the Joker, killed Bruce Wayne's parents. Again, I don't know how accurate it is to the comics, because they're always forever changing the Batman mythos. But at the time, during 1999, that's what they used. Obviously, Michael Keaton, aside from being a Batman, obviously was in the movie Beetlejuice, which apparently now they're making a sequel to. They are making a sequel to, and Batman. Michael Keaton will be reprised this role. Obviously, both movies at the time were directed by Tim Burton, who a lot of his movies which you've seen, which he's produced, I've always have this dark feel to it, and would get darker, especially with Batman Returns, which we'll get to that review in the future. But yeah, I absolutely really enjoyed Batman. I'm probably gonna watch it again tonight. Well, in a while later on anyway, because I actually feel like watching it, and especially with the fact, obviously, with the current Flash movie that's out in the cinemas. Michael Keaton obviously is making his appearance again as Batman, which I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would ever see Michael Keaton back in the role as Batman. So it's one of his I'm looking forward to seeing when I eventually get round to seeing the Flash, and I will hopefully try to see it and do a review of it. And I'll try, which I'm gonna keep short. I've got a new idea that I kind of want to do in regards to that review. But yeah, Batman 89 as it's affectionately known as. Yeah, absolutely love this movie. For me, every time I watch it, it feels like I'm watching the movie for the very first time. The only kind of weird thing about it, I did obviously at the time Jack Nicholson obviously got top billing over Michael Keaton, because obviously Jack Nicholson at the time was a much bigger star than Michael Keaton was. But yeah, and I absolutely enjoyed the Batman movie. And again, coming from the back of obviously Superman the movie, and between Superman the movie and when Batman would release in '89, the superhero genre, in terms of the blockbuster movies, kind of weren't kind of great. They were kind of anything above average to average, or not very good. And for me, the Batman, obviously for me, revitalized the superhero franchise. And obviously after that, we would get one or two, we would get like the X-Men movies and the Spider-Man movies, because even back then it was trying to bring the Spider-Man movies to, all the stuff we would see with Spider-Man was really camp. And it's only into the early 2000s when obviously we got the Spider-Man movies, we got the X-Men movies, and one or two Superman movies, and then we got the Dark Knight trilogy. And then now we're up to, we're in the age of the Marvel movies, which is up to Phase 4, going on to Phase 5 now. And you've got like the DCU now with its movies and new future under James Gunn. So yeah, I do think a lot of the credit with these movies, especially for me, has to go to movies, especially like Superman the movie, which for me was the template for all superhero movies from then to currently now. And then for me, obviously Batman with my '89, and for me doesn't kind of get for me the credit that it kind of deserves. And again, we live in a day and age now where superheroes, we're getting superhero movies every other month now, and then we kind of forget how, as I said before, where superhero movies weren't popular, or they weren't, would resonate with the average cinema goer unless you already were a comic book fan. So again, I think in life we do take a lot of things for granted when things are already successful, not to when things aren't successful and having to build, that sense of a establishment for that franchise. But yeah, Batman '89, highly recommend watching this movie. And if you already haven't, especially if you're from the younger generation, I definitely would recommend watching Batman '89, as it's known as. Anyway, I hope people like this video. Sorry if I went on a little bit too long. It's just my passion. I absolutely love this movie, and it was a really big part of my childhood. So please feel free to share with your friends and family. Also, you can give this video a thumbs up, because that will help people find my YouTube channel and content, especially with the YouTube algorithms favouring the bigger YouTubers. So that would be a lot of help. Also, if you already haven't, please consider subscribing to my channel, where I'm on my way to 500 subs. So really hoping I can get there at some point, maybe by the end of the year. So I'll be eternally grateful if you want to see stuff like this or any other stuff. There's plenty of various stuff on my YouTube channel. So it only leaves me to say, wherever you are in the world, please stay safe. And one quick final thing, really tired of seeing people being negative about movies, whether it doesn't matter of the genre, whether it's horror, comedy, superhero, action films. For me, it's just simply about just enjoying movies, and that's what my passion has always been about. So yeah, not really into these people being negative about movies and wanting movies to fail. So anyway, so take care, and I'll speak to you all again soon. Bye for now.